The Messy Kitchen, where real food meets real life.
Welcome back, fam. So, let's make sweets. This setup is for some cookies. I'm gonna call them nuts, or maybe nutty. I don't know. Cranberry nut? Nut cranberry? I don't know. We'll work on it. Anyway, what I have here is 2.5 cups of nuts. I have half pecans and half walnuts. So I'm gonna start by just chopping them up some so that they're not so big. The more you chop them, the more smooth the cookie will be. And if you want your cookies to be a little crunchy, chunky. If you want them to be chunky, then don't chop it up too much. Let's see what I get. Okay, we're gonna stop there because I'm gonna chop it some more when I add everything else. So what I have here is 2/3 cup of whole wheat pastry flour and a teaspoon of salt. And here I have 1/3 cup of flaxseed and chia seed mixed together. Flaxseed, like I told you, is great for lowering cholesterol, blood pressure, stabilizing blood sugar, but chia seed, and for omega-3s, but chia seeds also balance the omega-3 and omega-6 together, and they're also good for inflammation. So we're just going to make these really healthy cookies. I felt like nuts needed a little fruit, a little something. You can add whatever it is you want. This also, you can use gluten-free flour if you want. I have done that, but I'm making gluten flours today. Gluten flours. I'm making gluten cookies. Okay, anyway, these are cranberries. So I'm just gonna see how that works. I'm making a mess. And I'm gonna use a cup of honey. Now, you can use different sweeteners. You do not have to use honey. You don't have to use a whole cup. You could actually use a 1/2 cup of maple sugar, maple syrup. That would be good and less sweet. You could use dates. You could use dates. And if you think that about 8 dates makes about 1/4 cup, you can kind of play with it and decide how sweet you want it. I'm going to pulse this a little bit and I'll be right back. Okay, so I added the honey. I added a tablespoon of vanilla because I just felt like it needed that. And so I got a bit of a mess here. So what I'm doing now is just scooping it out and make it into a cookie shape. I could use the scooper like I showed you before. I could use the oh my goodness, why is my brain thinking? The lid and make it into a scoop. But I decided to get my hands messy. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put these in here, stick them in the oven. I've already preheated the oven at 350 for maybe 10 or 15 minutes and see what happens. And then I'm going to make some Fauxgurt. Stay tuned. Well, true to the messy cook style, I made a mess. But theoretically, the cookies won't spread. So they should look pretty much like this, just done when I bring them out of the oven. Let's see what happens. So I know you're thinking, what is Fauxgurt? Good question. So my son told me that once you change all of the ingredients, you can no longer call it whatever it was. Hence, there's no milk in this fake yogurt or faux yogurt. Hence, Fauxgurt. I call it fruit Fauxgurt because we're going to add quite a bit of fruit. And you can add whatever kind of fruit that you like, or I'm going to add an array of fruits because that's who I am. So I'm starting with 1/3 of a cup washed cashews. And I'm using a shelf-stable tofu. I have used the firm or the soft. It comes out basically the same, so it doesn't matter. I'm using 1 tablespoon of lemon juice and 1/2 cup of honey. Now, I will tell you again that I am sweet and savory. You do not have to use a whole 1/2 cup of honey. You can use 1/4 cup, or you can use dates. I have made it with dates. I have made it with less honey. I have made it with, I think I made it with maple syrup too. But tonight this time, whatever, we're making what I like, which is 1/2 cup of honey. And like I was saying before, I think it's 8 dates makes a 1/4 cup. And if you want to use dates, you can just add more till you get it to the sweetness you like. So I also need to add like 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. That's going to be it. Now we pulse. So now you have your base of the Fauxgurt. Can you see that? Okay. Now, theoretically, you would add 2 or 3 cups of whatever fruit you like. I'm going to add strawberries. You saw that? Blueberries. And pineapple. And now we pulse. You see how creamy that is? Spoon and tasty. See that? I eat this over more fruit. Some people add granola. I'm not much of a granola fan, so that's not me. But I will add like bananas and more blueberries and sometimes an apple to give it a little crunch. But yeah, this is my go-to little sweet, happy, guilt-free treat. Loving it. I think I went overboard with the liquid in my cookies. I'll show you what I mean. You see what happened to my cookies? I've made these cookies before, and they didn't run together. But the last time I made them, I didn't use a whole cup of honey. So I'm thinking that I should probably use maple syrup next time or less honey. But I wanted them a little sweeter. And this is what happened. My cookies melded together. That's okay. You know it tastes better if it's a mess. So make a mess and enjoy it. Thanks for stopping by. See you next time.